When we come back, we'll track down a legendary phantom bear and investigate a story that could make a true believer out of anyone. Daniel and Natalie are in the heart of Old England, searching for evidence of animal ghosts. Today, they're on the trail of a bear from the great beyond.
This is Verdley Wood, where legend has it the last brown bear in Britain was killed. Also, behind me are the ruins of an old castle. Now all that remains are just a few stones. Little is known today about Verdley Castle. All that remains apart from the stones is a rough floor plan held at the local council offices. It's not known who built it, but what is known is that the building was constructed more than 1,000 years ago. It was probably not a castle at all, but a hunting lodge. After the humans moved out and the lodge fell into disrepair, the ruins provided shelter for the wood's wildlife.
According to legend, on Christmas Day about 200 years ago, hunters chased a bear into the remains of the hunting lodge and slaughtered it. The creature was said to be a brown bear, but that doesn't seem likely.
Britain's brown bear disappeared around the 10th century. It was a victim of local hunting and an export trade to Rome where it was used as sport.
The bear of the Verdley legend was probably an imported black bear, brought into Britain from Europe to be bred up for hunting or bear baiting. The legend says that the bear was beaten to death here, and that every Christmas Day its ghostly cries can be heard echoing through Verdley woods. We're here to see if we can detect the spiritual presence of this unfortunate animal.
Craig Hamilton Parker is one of Britain's leading psychics. He knows nothing about the history of the Verdley bear or this area. But by tapping into the psychic vibrations left behind, he'll try and recreate exactly what happened here all those centuries ago. Tonight, he'll finally settle the question: does Britain's last bear still haunt these woods, or is it just a legend?
How do you get in contact with animal spirits in particular?
Well, we get in contact through mediumship. I open my mind, I suppose we could say. I open the aura, which is like the energy field around us, and I become very sensitive to the influences around me.
To prove that he's for real, Craig puts his powers to the test on Dan and Nat.
First, Natalie, I've already been aware, while you've been sat there with your grandmother on Spirit's side, that was quite open to these things and quite a spiritual sort of lady. She's the side where your first interest in animals came from, I feel, because I feel she had an interest in animals herself. Does she keep cats?
Yes.
Right. Can I say she had in her life, I see 3 cats.
Yes.
Right. I also see one that seems to be sort of like it's got a fluffy tail, possibly a Balinese, or a fluffy type of cat that was the one that she would have liked most.
Yes.
Right? And she used to keep it on a little red cushion and things like that. It's almost like I'm being shown it on a little red cushion.
Yes.
I don't know what it is because it's fluffy, right? You remember it, right?
Yes.
I'm going to now move on to Daniel. You had a whole range of love with different animals through your life, I am being told here. You have, there's dogs, I feel, with you. You extend your love to people, to all animals as well, because you have an affiliation with everything that's innocent, you know. And your life too is the same.
Craig's hit the mark. Nat seems impressed.
Craig was able to pick up that my grandmother owned 3 cats, and particularly the fluffy cat. She adored that cat, lived with her for years. It was pampered just like he said, and yeah, perfect.
How about you, Daniel?
He picked up the connections I have with dogs and all animals in general. And one of my first jobs was diving with tiger sharks, and he picked that I was a diver and had a particularly dangerous job.
Craig's never met Daniel or Natalie before today. There's no way he could have known any of those things unless his psychic ability was for real. Time's getting on, so let's see what happens when Craig Hamilton Parker and his psychic colleagues try to get in touch with the ghostly bear.
I just feel you just got to sense his energy.
Hi, guys.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So have you picked up any vibrations?
Yes, I think we've got quite a lot between us, but we've not discussed it yet. I personally saw a fairly large hall area, and I felt as if there was a glass section, a glass window of some sort there. And I felt there was a place for horses at the back of the building, and possibly a falconry or something high up.
And I had a feeling that the building was, it wasn't totally symmetrical. There was one side that was more like a turret.
It struck me more like a very solid house with a turret of some sort at one corner.
So do you think the spirit of a bear still haunts this place?
I saw no ghosts.
Got a sense of sadness, but about the story of the bear. But I think maybe that's just a natural thing that we would feel because the bear was once part of this country, but no longer.
It's a bit like we've lost our own natural side, isn't it? I mean, there's no longer wolves, there's no longer bears, there's no longer those creatures of the night.
So it seems the psychics agree. There's a rich and sad history here, but no spiritual presence.
Well, I actually think that the mediums were quite credible, because how were they to know? They only got the opportunity to go and see the ruins. There's very little evidence of the castle left. There's not really many websites they could have gone to find out any extra information, so they managed to go into quite a lot of detail.
And the fact that the actual legend about the bear, the last bear in Britain being killed in the ruins of Eardley Castle, I think if they were fraudulent about it, then they would have talked about the bear being in the castle and being killed in the ruins and all this sort of thing, but they didn't actually pick up on that at all.
When we come back, our hunt for the ghostly creatures continues.